folks, it's Jeff Marshall here, and we are continuing on with our study of the CAGED system. Today we're going to work on pattern number 5 of our minor sounds. Okay, so if you're not hip to the CAGED system, of course you want to check out my video Introduction to the CAGED system, which just gives you a brief overview of the CAGED system as a concept. But now we're taking a little bit deeper dive, and we've done our 5 major sounds and 4 out of 5 of our minor sounds, and this should wrap up our minor sounds, at least for our basic minor scale and minor pentatonics and chords and such. So let's take a quick peek at pattern number 5 in our minor sound here. And as you would expect, pattern number 5 is based off the D-shaped chord, because if we spell out the word caged, C-A-G-E-D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it would look something like this. If we start with our typical D minor chord here, what we want to do is restructure it so we can use our first finger as a bar. And then our first finger is going to be kind of our movable capo, and we can move that up. If we bring this up to, say, a G note here on the 5th fret, now it's a G minor chord. If I move it up to A on the 5th fret on the D string here, that's where our root is, by the way, on the D string. And now it's an A minor, but it's still in the form of a D minor. So since we're in a key of D, we could, I suppose, do it open. But I think I'm going to move up here to the 12th fret. Okay. We have a root tone here on the 12th fret. That's a D note. And then we can plug our chord shape in there, and it's a pattern number 5 D minor shape. All right, so let's take a quick peek at the arpeggio that goes around this particular shape. All right, we're going to start with our root tone, and as always with pattern 5s, it's on the D string. We move up to the minor 3rd here, which is on the 15th fret of the D string. Then we have our perfect 5th here. And that shape might look familiar if you've gone through some of these videos. That's the same shape that we started pattern 4 with, and also pattern 2. All right, and then we have another root tone here and our minor 3rd on top. Just going right around that chord shape. Now a lot of times, especially if I'm high up here on the neck, I might just use my 1st and 3rd finger here. And you can see I've moved my 1st finger down to the 1st string here. That's just one of those little anomalies that over the years of playing that has just been comfortable for me to do. So, you know, you can always explore and feel what is good for you. And now to play this in strict kind of classical fingering, you'd have to play it something like this. And you can see, you can hear right away I'm not very comfortable with that. So it feels a little awkward to me. So that's just my workaround. And it works for me. All right, below the root here you have another 5th, and then another minor 3rd on the low E string. And by the way, you can play the chord with the 3rd in the bass too, the minor 3rd. Just like we did with our major pattern 5 chords, you can make it minor like that. It's really in an inversion, but it's actually a pretty sweet sounding chord. All right, let's work that arpeggio a bit. I'm going to jump over to my metronome here. We're at 90 beats per minute. Let's just start off with quarter notes. And I'm going to start that over. All right, let's just start with quarter notes. And here's we're going to start on the root tone here. We're going to go all the way up to the arpeggio, come back down to the lowest note, and then back up to that root tone again. Here we go. Just quarter notes to start off with. Let's get that feel going. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we'll try it with 8th notes. Here's our 8th notes. All right, let's give that a go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe we could try our 8th note triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's stop there. And let's see if we can make a little bit of music with this pattern 5 minor triad arpeggio. I'm going to go to my backing track here, and I'm just going to only play the notes in that minor arpeggio and see if I can make a little bit of music out of it. right, not bad. Can make quite a bit of music with just the minor arpeggio. And even though it's not many notes, what I find when I'm working with fewer notes is I start to lean more on my rhythm feel of time, you know. And I have to try to get creative with how I play those notes. So sometimes limiting your notes is actually even just a great exercise unto itself. All right, let's take a look at our minor pentatonic. Again, we got our chord shape here. All right, and we know our minor pentatonic is this series of note. We start on our root tone, we call that the 1. Then we go up a minor third, that's our flat 3, 1, flat 3. Then we have our 4th, our 5th, and then we can shift over here for our flat 7. And then we have another root tone. So it's 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. That's the intervals of our minor pentatonic, right? Then we have another root tone here, another flat 3, and another 4th. And that's kind of the end of that pattern. However, if you want to get sneaky, you can add that 5th on there, high E string, just to stretch it out a little bit, right? All right, below the root, we have the flat 7 here, then the 5th here, then the 4th, and the minor 3rd. All right, let's jump over to our metronome and let's just work out a few rhythms with that. We'll start with our 8th notes. Let's get that cadence going. We're going to play up the scale, all the way down the scale, and then back up to the root there on the D string. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Maybe we could try that with our 8th note triplets. Get the feel going. Triple it, triple it, triple it, triple it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. And maybe we can try it with our 16th notes. There's our 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, nice. All right, if you don't quite have those up to tempo, you can always, of course, change the speed of the metronome a little bit. But let's hear what that sounds like over the top of our D minor track here, right? I'm just gonna try to, maybe I'll start off by just reviewing the scale. Now I can start to make some phrases and maybe rearrange the notes a little bit. Add some bends. Maybe I can add some of that arpeggio. Blend some of that arpeggio in there with that minor pentatonic. Add some personality with your slides and your bends and your hammer-ons and pull-offs to make it sound nice and emotional, so it brings people into your sound. Now there's a couple of great spots to bend here in this pattern. The first one that comes to mind is kind of on the top note. Remember I said you can extend that, but you can also bend that, right? So that's a really nice bend. Sometimes I like to bend the flat 7 up to the root here, but you have to do it with your first finger, so it requires a little bit of energy and a little bit of practice. That kind of sound just adds personality and color to your sound. All right, let's take a look at the full minor scale now. This is pattern number 5. Again, we're in the key of D in our CAGED system, so we're up here on the 12th fret. That's where our root tone is. And we know that our minor scale is a 1, a 2, a flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7. There's our first octave. All right, then we can continue a little bit further on. We have another root tone here, another major second, another minor third, and there's that fourth again, right? So we've got... Below the root, we can play the flat 7 here, then the minor 6, then the 5th. We can bring that down to the 4th, flat 3, all the way down to the 2, and then back up to the root tone there. Let's get our metronome out and let's play that with a few different rhythms, and let's see if we can make some music with it. All right, let's start with just some eighth notes. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. Maybe we can try with our eighth note triplets. Triplet, 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 right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's try it with our 16th notes. There's our 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I think we got enough there to make some good music. So let's go ahead and jump over to our backing track and let's see if we can make a little bit of music with that scale. So first I just kind of go around this scale, make sure I have the pattern correct, play simple, and then start to inject maybe some phrases. All right, maybe add some of that pentatonic in there. And maybe I can add a little bit of that triad in there. Just blending all those sounds together. Getting some really nice phrases out of that. All right, awesome. So that's pattern number 5, and that pretty much wraps it up for the 5 patterns of our CAGED system in our minor sounds. So if you've been following along, hopefully up to this point you've reviewed all 5 patterns of your major and all 5 patterns of your minor. Remember, this is just foundation or fundamental stuff. As time goes on, I'm going to get into some deeper stuff, but a lot of things that I do and figure out on the guitar is based off the CAGED system. I do use some other systems too, which I will explore with you hopefully soon, but I think if I have to think of one system that really works well with the chords and with the different types of scales, like your pentatonic scales, your arpeggios, and obviously the full scale, and finding a way to blend those things together, I think the CAGED system is great for that. So thanks for hanging out, and I will see you soon. Rock on.